Serving is a must. He's the Alpha, the first. This is DJ Nicholas on the show. When you hear the trumpet or the flute, know it's a battle. Time to put your vehicle in a drive, ready to travel. Like Mary, you are going to use your foot, kick off shackle. When the war so easy on me body, and when the God man them there, the matter man the look and the God them there.
When the God man them there, God man them in the place. This is Kevin and Courtney, and we'll be joining a very special guest, Dr. Donovan Thomas, this afternoon. So welcome. This is the mailbox, and we're looking at suicide prevention. Now, suicide prevention starts with recognizing the warning signs and taking them seriously. If you think a friend or a family member is suicidal, there's plenty you can do to help save a life. The World Health Organization estimates that approximately 1 million people die each year from suicide. What drives so many individuals to take their own lives? To those who are not in the grips of suicidal depression and despair, it's difficult to understand what drives so many individuals to take their own lives. But a suicidal person is in so much pain that they can see no other option. Suicide is a desperate attempt to escape suffering that has become unbearable. Blinded by feelings of self-loathing, hopelessness, and isolation, a suicidal person can't see any way of finding relief except through death. But despite their desire for the pain to stop, most suicidal people are deeply conflicted about ending their own lives. They wish there was an alternative to suicide, but they just can't see one. Take any suicidal talk or behavior seriously. It's not just a warning sign that the person is thinking about suicide. It's a cry for help. This is a program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by men, and it's aired every Wednesday unless it's a holiday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. It's the mailbox. By the way, I'm Kevin Bailey, my co-host right here.
And I'm Courtney Morrison. Thanks to all our listeners. Thanks for making Love 101 your station of choice. We're talking about suicide prevention. It is said that most suicidal individuals give warning signs or signals of their intentions. Suicide prevention starts with recognizing the warning signs and taking them seriously. Learn what can be done if you think a friend or family member is suicidal, and the tools that you can use to help save the life of someone who is thinking of harming themselves. Today, we'll have a conversation with our guest, Dr. Donovan Thomas, founder of Choose Life International, who is celebrating 17 years.
Oh, yes, so I want to welcome our guest, Dr. Donovan Thomas, founder of Choose Life International, and they're celebrating 17 years, and we want to congratulate Dr. Thomas and Dr. Faith Thomas and the team there. Dr. Thomas, welcome. Great to see you. Long time no see.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Greetings to you all, to both of you, my distinguished friends, and our listeners and our viewers on radio and on social media, wherever you are.
Good afternoon, Dr. DT, as we affectionately call you.
Yeah, my brother, Courtney. Greetings.
So I want to say a little bit about Dr. Donovan Thomas. Dr. Donovan Thomas is the founder, president of Choose Life International. Donovan is an experienced president with a demonstrated history of working in the non-profit organization management industry. Skilled in theology, event planning, discipleship, organizational development, and volunteer management. Strong entrepreneurship professional with a doctor of ministry focused in major teen suicide prevention from Columbia Theological Seminary. Listeners, want you to know man from Mount Point to Negril. He was the Caribbean Regional Director at Youth for Christ International from February 2001 to July 2007, where he provided leadership for the care of the Youth for Christ leaders in the region and helped to develop service to youth in the Caribbean region. National Director of Jamaica Youth for Christ from September 1993 to July 2007. Dr. Thomas is the author of the book Confronting Suicide, Helping Teens at Risk. He's married to Dr. Faith Thomas for 39 years. Wow, that's amazing. Congrats again, Dr. Thomas, and a shout out to your lovely wife as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations indeed. One more year to 40. That's a generation by scripture. The number 40 is very significant. So it's good to have you, Dr. Thomas, with us. And indeed, the topic which we speak on, we know you're very versed in, and we are waiting to hear from you, especially with what we've been seeing happening in Jamaica. Even up to today, we are hearing the possibility, not yet confirmed, of a judge down in Trelawney in St. James, seeming it is alleged that she has committed suicide. And so we want to say to everyone who is listening, man and man, remember, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Remember, you can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or call our studio lines at 816-968-8327 and 876-968-8328. Also, we're on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica.
And ladies, what I want to say, ladies, we can't do without you. Thank you so much for your support. So guess what? You can interact with us. We want you to answer the question. What would you do if you discover that a friend or family member is suicidal? That's the question we're asking you to answer, ladies. You can participate in the program by leaving us a message via WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube. Ladies, remember, no calls or voice notes are allowed. Allow the men them to call. This is their space, but you can interact on the other social media platforms. Dr. Thomas, you're not new to the program, and so we want you to join us in doing a shout out to the man them. So after 3, we normally just say Monday. So we're gonna agree together after 3 and we shout Monday. 1, 2, 3.
Monday.
Yes,
Indeed.
That's right.
And indeed, I also want to give a shout out to the Scarlett family at the passing of Ian Scarlett, quite a notable young man. I played hockey with him while at Kingston College, especially on our Enriquez Shield winning team, 1983. Ian, you'll be dearly missed. Reverend Lennox Scarlett, I'm sure, is also going to be heading back here. So to the Lennox, to the Ian Scarlett family and the Kingston College family, indeed, my continued condolences. But before we head into the main discussion, it's now time for us to get into the segment that we dub Draft. That's the direct response for the featured theme, where preliminary open the way to our main segment. We want to ask the question, do you think we're doing enough to prevent suicide cases? This is a question to you, Dr. DT. Do you think we here in Jamaica are doing enough to prevent suicide cases? Yes or no? If yes, why? If no, why?
I don't think we're doing enough. It is easy for us to sensationalize when somebody dies by suicide. But are we committed to doing the work to be able to be proactive in building a society where, by virtue of the systems and structures in place, we give people an opportunity to be able to process their hurts and their pain before it gets to that level? We give a big shout out when the death has taken place, but are we willing to deal with the protective factors? Are we willing to expose the warning signs? Are we willing to ensure that we have opportunities for people to process. I do not think so.
Oh, and we definitely will be delving into some of these risk factors, protective factors, in so much detail, because we really want to do much better as a society. Just want to remind our listeners that we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. You can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125, or call our studio lines 876-968-8327 or 968-8328. Also, we're on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. So, Dr. Thomas, before we take our first break, what would you, well, probably tell us, how are we doing generally in Jamaica as far as the numbers are looking in comparison, to the rest of the world? Are we getting worse, better? Give us a sense of what we're doing as far as suicide and suicidal prevention.
Well, I want to begin to say one suicide is one too many. So although Jamaica has a relatively low rate compared to our Caribbean neighbors and the Americas and the world at large, 2 or 3 per 100,000 compared to 16 and 20 per 100,000 per year, we cannot afford to be complacent. We should be setting our own standards, just like there's nobody in the world to compare with Bolt. May we set our standards so high that nobody can compare with us, that we need to work on reducing risk factors and rescuing our people before they die. Figures are relatively low compared to the rest of the world, but talk to somebody who lost their son to suicide last month, or talk to somebody who lost their mother to suicide recently. The pain associated with that, we should not take comfort in the fact that our figures are low.
Indeed, we can't take comfort in that. Yet, as you said earlier, we tend to sensationalize even someone who dies at suicide. And sometimes I'm thinking the family of these suicide, the victims, the families are not feeling good about it. And so I think we need to be a bit more sensitive and careful in our pronouncements, especially when such has occurred. Looking on Instagram, sometimes the comments that you see at someone completing suicide, you continue to wonder, why are we continually being insensitive, calling persons weak? And there must have been some other way that we could have helped. And I think a more loving and kind society will help in that. We are up on our first break, Kev. It's time. You're listening to or watching or viewing us live on YouTube or Facebook. It is The Mailbox. I'm Courtney Morrison, along with Kevin Bailey. And our special guest is Dr. Donovan Thomas. He is indeed the president and founder of Choose Life International. We'll come right back after these messages.
Now your mama, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
We know you're making every dollar work harder, choosing carefully, buying what you need, and making it stretch as far as you can. That's why Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets. It's our way of helping you sweeten moments together, share more meals, and take care of the people you love. Make a good move with 20% savings from Grace. Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets.
The time that Grace could move is 5:45. Start your day informed, alert, and ahead of the curve. Join us at 6:30 a.m. for the latest breaking news, weather updates, and everything you need to know. Clear, concise, connected. It's your morning news right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. On Wednesdays, the morning news is brought to you by Burt Auto Parts. It hurts if you don't check Burt's.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program. You're listening or viewing us on Facebook. Love 101, this is the family station, the #1 gospel station in the nation, here in Jamaica and probably in the Caribbean. We need to find the facts on that one. It's time for the inbox. It's where we get a little bit deeper or much more deeper into the meat of the matter. We're talking about suicide prevention. Our guest is Dr. Donovan Thomas. Kev, you know, I'll ask Dr. DT some questions.
Yes, no, it's true, because, you know, persons listening and seeing Dr. Donovan Thomas and all that he has accomplished and in helping our nation and in fact the world may think that he grew up with gold spoon in his mouth. So we need a little information. Dr. Thomas, what was it like for you, early childhood experience? Where did you grow up, and did you have gold spoon in your mouth? Had everything? That is why you're able to be at this place at this time. Share with our listeners a little bit about your early upbringing.
Didn't have the gold spoon then, don't have it now. And grew up, literally born at home, grazing Sugar Estate. If you're old enough, Kevin, you would know about grazing Sugar Estate. Was born at home there. My father was a tractor driver. We walked 2 miles to school from grazing to Onoto Bay for primary school, and we're really just working hard. My father dropped out of school when he was 10 years old, and so education was not a big thing for us either. But then when it was time to the common entrance, my cousin Patsy came home and told my father that it is time for the children for Donovan and Carol to do lessons. And we started doing lessons and common entrance and that to St. Mary High School and some other things since. And we are grateful to God for the many who God has provided to help us along. But I think a real pivot for my life was when I became a Christian. And the Lord just opened up avenues through Youth for Christ and other areas for me to be exposed to the world and what's going on there. So to God be the glory. And this is the 17th anniversary of Choose Life International. Thanks to you, Kevin and Courtney, and to Love, and to all of you. Continue to pray for us and support the work we're doing. We are in this because we believe God has called us to through some tough times. I still feel the pain, Kevin and Courtney, of every death by suicide. When I heard about the death this morning, it literally brought tears to my eyes, because it is hard to lose somebody to suicide. And we just call upon the nation and the nations of the world to be proactive. No longer should we be just giving word support. We need action to support the rescuing of hurting people.
And you know what's clear, Dr. TT, is that some of us think that suicidal thoughts and depression are relegated to only a certain sector of society. And we need to recognize that, no, it's not biased, nor is it any respect of person. It can come to anyone, true or not true.
True. The rich, the poor, the young, the old, the in-between, the male, the female. We have got to learn risk factors, protective factors, and warning sign. And I look forward to that conversation as we unravel the topic tonight.
And I think we can go straight into that, Dr. Thomas. What are some of the risk factors that we need to be aware of? Because we really would love to have zero, as you say, set the standard for the rest of the world. What are some of the risk factors?
you know, risk factors are those factors that are out there in society. So we talk about history of substance abuse. Anybody that is involved in substance abuse is at risk. Then physical disability or illness, risk factor, recent death of family or close friends, exposure to bullying behavior, sexual abuse, mental illness, access to harmful means of death, relationship problems, previous suicide attempt, and a desire to escape. These are some of the risk factors associated with suicide. Losing a friend to suicide or just death of loved ones. Those are some risk factors.
Substance abuse. Not everyone may understand completely what is meant by substance abuse. You want to go a little bit more into
involved in smoking and drinking, when we take alcohol that destabilizes us, that we're not able to think properly, when we are involved in any kind of drug that cause distortion, that is what we call substance abuse. I regret to tell you that the young man who was so full of potential before he killed himself with a gun the other day in a group we're working with right now, who actually went out and got himself drunk before, no longer able to think appropriately, and he ended up taking his own life.
Wow, that's really tragic. Dr. Thomas, from your experience and your expertise, peculiar to Jamaica, what have you observed, you know, that pushing, and specifically our men, in committing suicide, being kind of focusing on our men on the mailbox? But what is it that we need to be conscious of and to be concerned and deliberate and intentional in helping our men?
Yeah, Kevin, you know, thanks for asking that question, because I want to suggest that there are 4 main factors that impact men where we end up killing ourselves more compared to women. And we think about psychological factor. We don't get help. We don't believe in seeking help. We prefer to go down the road and hang out and dig out our hand medals. Then economic factors. What we have found is that when the man experiences economic reversals, it is so much more difficult for him to be able to deal with it. So strong is the relationship between economy and suicide that a new word has been coined. It's called econocide. Then just the way we socialize.
What's that word again? Repeat that word. It's called what?
Econocide.
Econocide?
Yeah. So strong is the relationship between economy and suicide that a new word has been formed. I say to us, Courtney and Kevin, socialization factor is important. Think with me a moment. 2 3-year-olds are playing, a boy and a girl. The boy falls, the girl falls. How do we handle the boy? Oh, get up your name, man, be tough. What do we do to the girl? Hush, darling, don't cry. And from very early, we're teaching our boys that it is inappropriate to express feelings. And we need to validate the feelings of our males and our females and provide help and support. And the third factor I want to highlight is the religious factor. And let's compare the largest religion in Jamaica in terms of males and female. The largest religion in Jamaica is Christianity, place of worship of the Christian church. When you go to church, you have more males or you have more females? Many more females. And females know that this too will pass, that God is not going to give them more than what he is prepared to help them bear. That women know that they can cast their cares on him more than men. So these are some factors. So we need to be very deliberate in helping to validate the feelings of our male. Don't style our boys in terms that says, you're a sissy. If something goes wrong and they cry, you say, you're a girl child, or those kind of things. We need to help our children, our males and our females, know that what they feel is important. Males are 4 times more likely to die from suicide than females. But, you know, I need to just highlight the fact that many more females attempt suicide and that the man completes suicide. Hey, Courtney, see, Kevin, I am not saying is successful at suicide because there's no successful suicide. The man completes suicide more than the male because he uses more drastic means. And the acquisition of means of death should be taken seriously. The sudden desire to acquire a gun should be taken seriously. And we have to be on the lookout for men who are hurting. Let's provide a forum for men to talk. Let's provide an opportunity. Let's study how we can engage men compared to how we engage women. Let's reach out to our men and provide the help that we all need so much.
Interpersonal relationships, Dr. DT. What factor, how does that contribute in any way? What happens there? Or men seem to, when it's almost like lost. They have lost a companion in terms of someone else, or the woman says, hey, let's end this, and murder, suicide, or suicide. Well, it must be murder, suicide.
Yeah.
What factor does interpersonal relationships play, if any, in
broken
suicide?
relationship is actually a risk factor to suicide. And in my own work, one of the things I've noticed is that many people in our society, males and females, show some amount of vulnerability to suicide. And when there is the reversal, when there are challenges, when there are difficulties, broken love affair, conflict at home, failure in business, they can just easily decide we can't bother. But already there is a disposition of risk to suicide, risk to mental health. And therefore, when there is a broken relationship, the man finds it more, the man often thinks about, if I can't have her, nobody else gonna have her. And so we have seen the reports, we have heard the stories, and yeah, there are many more people who experience broken relationships than kill themselves and kill a woman. But we want to just reinforce that where there are healthy relationships, interpersonal relationship, intimate partner relationship, that is a protective factor. I also want to go on to say, not only is that interpersonal, intimate partner relationship important, but also general interpersonal relationship. When I did my research years ago and I looked through the records at War 21 and I looked at triggers of suicide, I realized that many people, many young people attempted suicide because of broken relationship with parents. And I want to just reinforce that strong parental connection is a protective factor against suicide. And sometimes just having positive relationship with a friend, your peers, building strong community with people at church or in a social club or even at the workplace, that is a protective factor. We are created to be in relationship, and we can form strong bonds with people who we can talk. Courtney, some have a problem, Courtney. But like, issues are going on in my life. I want somebody to talk to. Let's be accepting of people. Let's share our concern. Let's be our brother's keeper. Be slow to judge and condemn, and quick to accept and to compliment, and to be a good listener in the situation. Yes. And I say, as I've said to my children over and over, listen with your eyes, your ears, and your heart. People are hurt and don't want to speak. Listen with your heart.
Dr. Thomas, we're going to come back and let you complete the sentence or so, but we're up on our second break. Kevin and Courtney, we have a very special guest, Dr. Donovan Thomas from Choose Life International. We go to the studio. We'll be right back in a moment.
Strong man, integrity man, I am a man. Hey man, I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
Portmore City comes alive on Saturday, October 4 at the Emmanuel Apostolic Church for the 9th Sterling Gospel Music Awards. It's a celebration of gospel excellence in Jamaica. Dress code African elegance. Get your tickets at Fontana Waterloo and Portmore Sovereign, formerly Monarch Pharmacy, or online at spurropen.com. That's SPURROPEN.com/Sterling9. VIP reserved seating $7,000. General pre-sold $5,000 at $6,000 at the gate. Children 12 and under $2,000. Lap infants are free. See you there.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock. Join us for the 4th annual Accelerate Pastors and Leaders Conference hosted by Transformed Life Church, a power-packed 3-day conference designed to inspire, equip, and empower you as pastors and church leaders. Thursday, October 9, 6 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Friday, October 10, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Saturday, October 11, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Plus, we have a bonus event Friday at 6:30 p.m. for you and all your leaders. That's the Accelerate Pastors and Leaders Conference, October 9 to 11. Then join us on Thursday, October 9 at 8 a.m. for a live link right here on Love 101, the family station.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back to the program. It's the Mailbox here in Love 101. I'm Courtney Morrison along with Kevin Bailey. We're celebrating 31 years. Love 101, number one gospel station in Jamaica. We're talking with Dr. Donovan Thomas, Choose Life International President. The topic is suicide prevention. And in recent times here in Jamaica, we have recognized at least 4 deaths, including that of a teenager 15 years old. A judge just today, it's alleged that that's the method by which she was made unalive, is the new term that persons are using. And so we're talking about prevention. So Dr. Donovan Thomas, you were giving us some response to factors before we left. May just want to continue from there, please. Your mic is muted. May you unmute?
Yeah, I had completed some risk factors, and I believe it is important for us to know those risk factors. Risk factors are those things in society and in general that can help us to deal with the prevention. But also, we need to know what are the warning signs.
Yes.
What are the warning signs? What are some of the things that we should be looking out for? And I want to reinforce, as I have done already on this radio station and others, that every suicide threat must be taken seriously. A threat can be overt or it can be subtle. If somebody says, I'm going to kill myself, or there's some odd thing that said they may not be around, it must be taken seriously. A young lady came to me many years ago, and all she did was to wave from my office goodbye. And I said, what, you're going back to the States? No, big broad smile. Eastern Caribbean, no, big broad smile. But her birthday was coming up, and I got a chance to process with her that she had a plan on her birthday, plan for her birthday, which was to take her life. Anybody that talks about suicide or just death in general must be taken seriously. The person who is frequently talking about negative view of self, that's a warning sign. Person goes out to prepare for death, that is a warning sign. People talking about feeling like a burden, talking about being hopeless, anybody that is involved in self-harm, self-harm, there's non-suicide self-harm, but that tends to be on the same trajectory to killing oneself, cutting oneself, just burning oneself. Those are some warning signs of being aggressive compared to normal time. Person just gets overly aggressive and irritability is displayed. Hopelessness, no hope for the future, drastic changes in behavior and mood, engaging in risky behavior, desire to be isolated, to be to be alone, That's a risk factor. And again, I reinforce possession of lethal means of death. One of the things that prevents many people from killing themselves that they don't readily have that means of death. And therefore, we want to say when you have that means of death, it is a risk factor. You tend to want to pull it if something go wrong. And in that moment, and many people experience that in that moment, I shouldn't be around. And we want to ask us to know those warning signs and to act before it is too late.
Dr. DT, I remember you shared as well that persons who are leaving behind things, all of a sudden they're handing over credit cards, debit card, passport, just saying these possessions are no longer there is also a warning sign.
Those are warning signs. I share with you, 14-year-old died by suicide out in Manchester several years ago. 2 weeks before his death, he took his Xbox from his parents' house and brought it to his friend's house. We had a situation where a mother was looking for a home for an 8-year-old. When we investigated it, she was planning to kill herself and wanted to find a place of safety for this child. On a campus, at a university campus, a young lady was giving away her stuff. She took this lovely dress and gave it to a friend of ours. Her friend became curious. Why? That dress looks so good on you. Why are you giving away that dress? And when the investigation was made, they realized that this person was actually planning to die by suicide and was just making sure that these treasured items are in the right hand. So that is a risk factor. And just don't let us be so quick to receive. Thank you for this bicycle. I really love this jacket. Thank you for this credit card. Let us look beyond that and show concern for persons who are hurting to the point that they want to take their own lives.
Thank you so much. Dr. Thomas, persons now see certain warning signs. They're aware of the risk factors, family members, church members, friends, etc. But they don't know what to do to help. What are some of the suggestions, what some of the things that they could do, should do in order to help prevent suicide?
I would like to share with you, Kevin and Courtney, a quick tool that can help to assess severity. It is the PIN scale developed by a man called Stephen Lansing. The P is the plan. So we want to assess severity. The more detailed the plan, the closer the person is to the suicide act. And the I is the intensity of the method. The person who knows the place, knows the time, and knows the means of death is closer than the person who said, I just feel like I want to kill myself. N is the nearness of the method. Does the person already have the means of death? And the idea here is that we want to separate the person from the means of death as much as possible. A 13-year-old threatened to kill himself. I was invited to go to the home. When I got to the home, I realized that his room was very close to the kitchen. One of the things that we did was to recommend that he be removed from the kitchen, from so close to the kitchen, because he could find a weapon in the kitchen. And that he should always be under supervision. And the S is the support system. So many people in this world are hurting and feel alone in families, in churches, in schools, in business places, in communities. Feel alone. Let us support people. Let us be there. I have a principal who calls me from time to time to say, Dr. Thomas, I have somebody here in front of me who is suicidal. I need your help. And I reassure the person of my willingness to walk the path with them. To be able to say to them, I want to be there for you. I want to help you through this. One of the things I've learned, Courtney and Kevin, is that many people really want to have the problems solved. And sometimes they see themselves as the problems. And what they want to escape the problem. So instead of problem solving, instead of brainstorming, What can we do to help you? They decide, you know what? I want to eliminate myself. Where can I get help? For instance, a simple little situation. I was on a radio show, probably one like this, and I gave my number. A lady called me after the radio show and said, Dr. Thomas, you know, I am so distressed. I have these sons and I can't feed them. I used to raise chicken. I still have the coop. If I could only get 25 chickens and a bag of feed, I would find hope. Choose Life International got help and provided those chickens. There was one time when I called on Jamaica Broilers to help us find some chickens to help instill hope. So we are saying, let's support each other. I took some things from the kitchen one day to go up to the hill to exchange with the lady to exchange for the rope that the woman was going to use to kill herself because she was hopeless, couldn't feed her children. We can take simple steps to provide support. The P, the plan. The I, the intensity of the method. The N, the nearness of the method. The S, the support system. Let's be slow to judge. Even in the context of people talking about suicide, let us not style them as idiot or fool. When they go to the hospital, we need to be sensitive and realize that they're wounded, they're scarred emotionally. And majority of those who die by suicide are people who suffer from mental illness. So when they get to the hospital because they are suicidal, don't discriminate and treat them as if you want to kill yourself. Why should I waste my time with you? Let's show love and concern. Let's be there for our people. The nearest some of those people will come to choosing life is to you. Empower yourself. Learn the warning signs. Learn the risk factors. And I look forward to a conversation to talk about protective factors that can help us to build resilience in the lives of people who are hurting.
Thank you, Dr. Donovan. Isn't it also true that you mentioned it a bit when you were speaking of support, that most of these persons, even with their warning signs or what they're saying, they're looking for someone who will show that they care, value the individual, and that's all some of them are waiting to hear.
Yeah, you know, people want to know that we care, that somebody cares for them. And just showing care and concern can be a lifeline. They don't want to be judged. They don't want to be condemned. They want someone to listen to them. They want somebody to show care and concern. They want someone to trust.
Yes.
They don't want to be alone. They don't want to be advised. They don't want to be interrogated. Presence is important for hurting people.
Dr. Thomas, this can be provocative, but some people say, you know, if you're Christian, your faith must be weak while you're thinking of suicide, and don't pay any attention because you're a Christian. And so if a Christian voices something like that, they say, go pray and or don't pay any attention. What's your perspective on this?
Kevin, I would say to that same person, so does that mean that the person who has cancer has weak faith? The person who has diabetes, does that mean that it is weak faith? It is illness. Okay, so that is one option. The other thing is, in my own practice, I've come across suicide that is motivated by demonic influence. 13-year-old came to me the day after he attempted suicide, was brought to me. I was doing my usual interview with him to do emotional assessment, and his eyes started going around, turning over, his head going around in a circle. I was only able to see the white in his eyes, gesticulation with his hands, and I realized I wasn't dealing with something emotional. I called one of my staff members and said, let's pray over this young man. Before we prayed, I said, John, say after me, John belongs to Jesus. The outright response was, John belongs to Satan. Not once, not twice, not 3 times. So there's a place for us to deal with the demonic. But I say to us, we have a responsibility to determine what is it that is triggering the suicidal thought. And so Choose Life International believes in the biopsychosocial spiritual model. Is there chemical?
Let's stick it there before you tell us the biosocial struggle. It's 6:15 in the afternoon, and we're here talking about suicide prevention. The program is The Mailbox. I'm Courtney Morrison, along with Kevin Bailey, speaking with Dr. Donovan Thomas, founder and president of Choose Life International. We come right back after this break.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
You can see the face, but not the heart. Those who want to do you wrong. So many times.
Bless up. This is Christopher Martin. Human trafficking is a crime. Let's unite to end human trafficking. Be wise, open your eyes. Spot them, stop them, and report them.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
No shadow after dark. No shadow after dark.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back. This is The Mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite gospel station, Love 101 FM. Kevin and Courtney in the place of very special guest, Dr. Donovan Thomas, founder, president of Choose Life International. Before we took our final break there, Dr. Thomas, you're looking at the biopsychosocial spiritual model. Can you explain to our listeners, what's that about? How is that helpful as we look at suicide prevention?
Thank you again for just picking that up. One of the greatest challenges that I have when somebody comes to me who is suicidal is to determine what is at the root of this. And is it biological? Does the person need medication? And so we have to get to that. And sometimes the depression is so much that the person not even ready for talk therapy. So we are happy to tell you that, Courtney and Kevin, that we also now have a psychiatrist on staff, and homegrown Dr. Joseph Thomas, consultant psychiatrist. He is
that's wonderful.
One of our associate staff and a member of our board there. Yeah. So does the person need medication? And we want to salute people like Dr. Kevin Goldburn and Dr. Maureen Irons Morgan, Dr. Shetty, and so many others who have just come alongside us that we have referred people to over the years, Dr. Liba Thomas, and so forth. So is it biological? Does the person need medication? Does the person need to see a medical doctor? Then the psychotherapy. Psychotherapy is talking through things. And many times there's distorted thinking. Think of a Bible story that you and I are familiar with. A man is in jail. Paul and Silas are in prison. Earthquake. The jailer asleep. The jailer woke up, saw windows open, saw doors open, and his conclusion was that prisoner's gone. He pulled a weapon to kill himself. Distorted thinking. But that is not so. So we have to help people to be able to reorient themselves with proper thinking. The way we think affects the way we feel, affects the way we behave. So there's a place for psychotherapy, for talk therapy. And I've shared some experiences with you of social intervention. Help a man to fish. Help a man to get over this rut. Teach a man to fish. Help somebody there. And of course, the spiritual, which is where the church has a significant role to play also in recognizing that there's a force that comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and we have to deal with it. So we have to do the analysis. The society right now calls out for help. How many of us are willing to decide, let's have a town hall meeting to discuss this matter? What if I were to say to you guys, let's join together to have a conversation. Let's look at some strategies. Let's stop pulling in one direction and the other direction. Let's have a united front to attack this issue. Let's look at a national strategy for suicide prevention. What is regrettable is that that's one of the topics that we had at the World Suicide Prevention Day seminar on September 10th. But many of the players were not there. Yeah, we had 1,000 participants from the Ministry of Education, and we applaud the Ministry of Education. But so many other sectors were absent. Let's have a role. Let's play our part. Let's join forces to break the bondage that seems to be over our nation right now. I want to say to all of the people who are in media, we have to be very careful about how we talk about suicide. We can't sensationalize. We cannot. It is not healthy for us to be reporting in the media and talking about methods, the way people died. It is inappropriate to be using pictures of location and pictures of means of death. Those are inappropriate. It is not right for us to talk about committed suicide. Courtney, I heard you. Kevin, I heard you talking about died by suicide or so forth. Let's completed suicide. Let's learn the language. Even with the recent upsurge, and I call it upsurge because in the month of when we should be talking about suicide prevention, we lost at least 3 people to suicide in Jamaica. That is cause for concern. But even as I process with people who are reporting these stories in the media and even in the pastorate, I can listen to the flawed language, the way which we speak about it. There is a copycat phenomenon that I call on our nation to be careful about. People in media, let us not just sensationalize. We should never be talking about suicide without offering a lifeline. Let's give them 888-639-5433. Yes, they have been flooded with over 500 calls in 1 month in September, but let's build capacity to be able to hear the cries of our people, that we can shout like Paul, don't harm yourself, we are all here.
Dr. DT, we want you to repeat that number, that 188 number, and we also want you to share with us about the plans for Mental Health Month, October 10, 2025, which is World Mental Health Day. We want to hear more about that as we're drawing closer to closing.
So
how do people get in touch with you? Repeat that 188 number, that lifeline number, and tell us a bit about the plans for Mental World Health Month as we're in October. The date, 10th of October, World Mental Health Day.
So the helpline operated by the Ministry of Health, named by Choose Life International, 888-NEW-LIFE, 888-639-5433. Give them a call. Choose Life International, 876-920-7924. And I'm going to do what I used to do before the mental health helpline came along. I have stopped it, but I'm going to do it now. My WhatsApp number, 869-3403. 869-3403. Before the helpline came on, Faith and I took all those calls. Now the helpline is there, but we realize that we need help. So Choose Life International exists to help people live physically, emotionally, and spiritually. We are concerned about what's happening in our schools, in our churches, in the business community. We want to come alongside you. You know, October 10th is World Mental Health Day, and the Ministry of Health usually does a conference around that time. So I look forward to hearing the details on that. Back there, we're participating in a trauma conference there in New York, where we are until later this month. And we're having a sponsors and partners breakfast to just talk about what are we going to do about what could possibly be a mental health crisis on the 24th of October. And I'm really hoping that I'll get the support to be able for us to have this town hall meeting at the Jamaica College on the 27th of October, as we issue a cry to the nation of Jamaica to help us to help people choose life.
Oh, Dr. Thomas, we are almost out of time, but we want your final thoughts. What's the direction you want us to go in Jamaica and incorporate that to our churches, our schools, and general population? What are some of the things, again, you'd like to see happening so that we prevent suicide?
Thanks for that question as we finish. Hear me carefully. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange has endorsed a project called the Shalom Project for Personal and Community Transformation. It is a project that can run in schools, in communities, in workplaces, in churches, where we are preparing ambassadors, choose life ambassadors, happiness ambassadors. We're teaching them suicide prevention, basic skills in counseling, trauma intervention, conflict resolution, and the art and science of happiness. I believe there's a plan that can be rolled out to build resilience in the lives of our people. And there's much more I can say on that. But I want to say, let's be suicide prevention coaches. AI, we have seen AI is serving as suicide coach. We want to be suicide prevention coaches. I believe we have the answer. I call upon the church, the business community, the school, the Ministry of Health to join forces that we can see that project multiply across the nation, the Shalom Project for personal and community transformation.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. The work you're doing is tremendous. Yourself and Dr. Faith Thomas. We notice also that we have a comment by a young person, and I think probably what they want to speak with you. They said I could try talking to that person to seek professional help. And I believe what they would like is for a number so that they can get in touch with you. I do believe that's what they want to do so that they can speak with you. But phenomenal work. And we noticed that in Jamaica, by the statistics, our men complete, there you go, issue is here, 8.5 times more than our women. As you said, more women attempt, but most men complete suicide.
I am going to just react to one of my pet peeves by that comment. Let's avoid using the word commit suicide. Let's talk about completed suicide.
I said complete.
No, it was what was seen on the screen. What I saw.
Okay.
Yeah. So even the way we view it, let's extend grace and mercy even to those who are suicidal. Let's not judge them and condemn them and call them mad or anything like that. But 876-869-3403. Send me a WhatsApp. I will answer you and provide you with some help. My book, Confronting Suicide, Helping Teens at Risk, remains a resource that is available. And I am offering, just tell that young person who wants that, I will give that to her at no cost. My contribution to her interest in helping people. So she can reach out to me.
Awesome. Remember, you can leave your comments via WhatsApp line at 8769-973-125 or call studio line 876-968-8327. So we say thanks to you, Dr. Donovan Thomas, for availing yourself for this very important matter, as we see appearing so frequent in the month of September, as we have just begun October. Thanks to Jeremy and Johnson, our producer, Niku Angus, technical support. Thanks to our guests, you, for choosing Life International, celebrating 17 years. We end the show with this quote: there is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't. There is hope even when your brain tells you there isn't. John Green says that.
That's it for our show this week. Catch you next week, Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. Same place, same time, inside the mailbox. Thanks again, Dr. Thomas. Greetings and everyone to the family as well. So we say, Monday up.
Man was here. Great work. Keep it up. Bless you.
Bless it.
Man. I am a man, yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man. Hey, man.
Join us for the 4th annual Accelerate Pastors and Leaders Conference.